You've probably heard the story of Jesus at the wedding in Cana countless times. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, why did Jesus call his own mother woman at that wedding? The words sound distant, perhaps even cold. Many people skim over them, either because they don't have an answer or they're hesitant to ask their pastor for fear of being misunderstood. But what if those words weren't cold at all? What if, in that very moment, something prophetic was being set into motion? What if that was the opening move in a spiritual war? Because the miracle of turning water into wine at Cana wasn't simply a quick fix for an awkward wedding crisis. In the Gospel of John, it's called a signal that the old was passing away and the new was coming. Jesus didn't come just to rescue a party. He came to rescue the world. And his first miracle was the first step toward the cross. That's why, by the time the story ends, you won't just see a wedding. You'll see a battle. A battle between the old and the new, between law and grace, between death and resurrection. The wedding in Cana should have been perfect. In first-century Judea, weddings weren't just private events. They were community-wide celebrations lasting days, filled with feasts, music, and blessings over the couple's future. But right in the middle of the joy, an unexpected problem arose. They ran out of wine. In our culture, that might feel like a small inconvenience. But in Jewish culture, wine symbolized joy, blessing, abundance, and honor. To run out was to lose face, to begin married life in shame and lack. Mary noticed. She saw the anxious glances of the hosts, the hushed whispers among the servants. Calmly and without pressure, she came to Jesus and said, "They have no wine." She didn't command him. She didn't plead. She simply spoke as a mother who knew what her son could do, sensing that this was about more than social embarrassment. But Jesus' reply startled many. "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." At first, it can sound like a blunt refusal. But in the language and culture of that time, the word woman, gyne in Greek, was not an insult. It was a respectful, even formal, term of address, used in poetry and moments of dignity. On the cross, with his dying breath, Jesus used the very same word when entrusting his mother to John's care. "Woman, behold your son." John 19 verse 26. At Cana, Jesus wasn't creating emotional distance. He was lifting the conversation from the level of family ties to the level of divine mission. Mary had come as his mother, but he responded as the Son of God. He wanted her, and everyone else, to understand that what was about to happen wasn't merely about saving a wedding's honor. It was the opening sign of his redemptive mission, pointing toward a specific hour, the hour of the cross. That moment also echoed an ancient promise. In Genesis 3 verse 15, God declared that the offspring of the woman would crush the serpent's head. Now, at Cana, by calling his mother woman, Jesus was connecting Mary to that prophecy, not as the one through whom sin entered, but as the one through whom the Savior had come to destroy sin's power. The miracle didn't happen instantly. It began only after Mary turned to the servants and said, "Do whatever he tells you." 6 large stone jars, used for ceremonial washing, symbols of the law's outward purity, were filled to the brim with water. That water became the finest wine, announcing a new covenant, from outward ritual to inward joy, from law to relationship. And this miracle wasn't performed for show. Only the servants and a few others knew. It was a quiet sign for those close enough to obey, because obedience always opens the door to the miraculous. From Cana to Golgotha, Jesus called his mother woman, only twice, once at the start of his ministry, once at its completion. Those 2 moments form a prophetic arc, linking Eden, Cana, and the cross. At Cana, new wine signaled restored joy. At the cross, his blood brought eternal salvation. And in both moments, the heart of the message was the same: believe, obey, even when you don't fully understand. Like Mary, sometimes faith is simply doing what he says. Because in that surrender, water becomes wine, lack becomes abundance, and shame becomes glory.